Your grandchildren are addicted to devices you don't understand. Your retirement savings disappeared to crypto scams you never saw coming. Democracy is crumbling because people believe lies they read on Facebook. What if none of this had to happen? In 2007, when Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone, he handed humanity the most dangerous weapon in history. And governments just let anyone use it. No training, no testing, no license required. Think about this. You need a license to catch a fish, but not to access the entire internet, your bank account, and broadcast to millions of people instantly. Instead, here's what should have happened. The moment Apple announced the iPhone, governments should have classified it as what it really was: a surveillance device, a propaganda machine, and a financial weapon rolled into one. Getting a smartphone license would require passing comprehensive tests: digital literacy, financial security, information verification. And unlike driver's licenses that any teenager can get, smartphone licenses would be serious business. The test wouldn't be some joke multiple-choice exam. You'd need to prove you could spot deepfake videos, identify financial scams, understand what apps are really doing with your data, and resist the psychological manipulation built into social media platforms. Age restrictions would be strict. No smartphones before 18, period. Just like we don't let kids drive cars, we wouldn't let them carry addiction machines designed by Silicon Valley psychologists. Most adults would have failed the licensing test miserably. Do you know what happens when you click agree on app permissions? Do you understand how targeted advertising works? Can you explain cryptocurrency well enough to not lose your life savings? The digital divide wouldn't be about money anymore. It would be about intelligence and education. Silicon Valley executives would hate this because their business model depends on user ignorance. Your elderly parents would never have fallen for phone scams because they'd be trained to spot them. Every licensed user would know how to verify caller identity and recognize social engineering tactics. But here's where it gets really controversial. Most people are too stupid to use smartphones safely. There, I said it. The device in your pocket is more complex than the space shuttle, but we hand them out like candy. Social media companies would be furious because they couldn't manipulate licensed users. No more rage farming, no more outrage algorithms, no more turning neighbors against each other for profit. Your teenage grandchildren wouldn't be depressed and suicidal because they wouldn't have access to Instagram until they were mature enough to handle it. Teen suicide rates wouldn't have skyrocketed after 2010. Elections would actually be decided by informed citizens instead of whoever can spread the most viral lies. Remember when political debates were about policy instead of conspiracy theories? Dating would be different. People would actually talk to each other instead of swiping through endless profiles like they're shopping for products. But the tech industry would fight this harder than tobacco companies fought smoking regulations. Because licensed users would demand privacy, resist manipulation, and choose quality over addiction. The uncomfortable truth. Smartphone licensing would have prevented the mental health crisis, the financial scam epidemic, the death of local businesses, the collapse of attention spans, and the destruction of civil discourse. Countries without licensing would become digital wastelands. Their populations would be manipulated, scammed, and psychologically destroyed, while licensed countries would thrive with informed, protected citizens. The enforcement would be brutal but necessary. Unlicensed smartphone use would be like driving without a license: fines, confiscation, legal consequences. Because the social cost of digital ignorance is too high. Remote work might not exist, but neither would digital nomads who destroyed local housing markets. Online shopping would be limited, but local businesses would still exist. Here's the test question that would have stumped most people. Explain how your data is being monetized and sold without your knowledge. Most smartphone users today still couldn't answer that. We chose convenience over safety, engagement over truth, and innovation over protection. Now we live in a world where your grandfather believes QAnon damage is done. Would you have passed the smartphone licensing test? Be honest. Could you have explained app permissions, spotted misinformation, and resisted algorithmic manipulation well enough to qualify? If you think people should prove they can handle dangerous technology before using it, let me know in the comments. And subscribe if you believe some innovations should have come with instructions and safety requirements.